Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome a sports fan who's got no problems telling you about shit that pisses him off or the dumbass shit that he did. He's not going to waste a lot of your time. He's going to get in and get out. He'll hit it and quit it. Let's put your hands together several thousand times in a row. It's Chronicles of a Dumbass, the Shawn Mackey Show. All right, here we go. We're going to dive into this again. We've got some video recording. We're recording our audio for the Spotify. We're 3 episodes deep. We're going to call today Spend It All Sunday. So the way this podcasting thing works is you have to have an RSS feed to be able to get it uploaded to places like Spotify and Apple Music and all those places where you would download the podcast from. So, the way I'm going to approach this is right now, there's things that I'm wanting to learn within the audio industry. I told you before in my very first podcast, I was wanting to do radio, and a big part of what that was I was intrigued by audio, not so much visual, 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 but the audio part of it, to be able to be just a background producer, a guy who just puts all the commercials, the spots together, the intros for people's shows, and you just be able to put all the sound effects together and do crazy things with the audio side of it. And so that's what I'm really attempting to do with this. And now I've gotten some feedback from the listeners to the first 3 episodes that they think it would be actually funny to see how, not so much how I create the podcast, but I'm a very animated speaker. You're going to get that if you watch the videos. But so hopefully, it's like my reactions to things and my facial expressions when I'm telling my stories or talking about anything really tend to get, I don't know, it helps, I guess, is what people are telling me. As a former teacher, I also know that some people, they just like to listen to things. So if you want to keep listening to Spotify in your car on the drive home for our show, hey, it's still going to be there. But then we're going to jump over to YouTube with these videos. And this is going to be the Making of Chronicles of a Dumbass. You can see here my background, a little bit of it's my sports stuff that I got. I got my man cave out in the garage for certain things when I paint my landscapes. If I could figure out how to incorporate pictures into this video, I may show some of those to you. I could upload them, I guess, in between or let them run at the end. I don't know. Just dabble. No biggie. But I took some of that and got it out here because the very first video I put up on Facebook, like 1:39 or whatever, just to see about loading video and getting it all to work on YouTube. And I had this flipped around and look, I'll be completely honest with you. My daughter's away at school, so this is her room. It gives me privacy. And you could see all the stuff that she had hanging on her walls, and it was just like, So my wife gets home from what she's doing today, and she takes one look at it, and she's like, no. So this is what we got, and I gotta say, I love it. We got my daughter's high school softball team photo back there. I got some of my sports memorabilia stuff. If I tilt this camera back, you can see a family photo and some photo of my daughters and her friends. But that's the studio. So hey, we're gonna upload these videos. Maybe eventually, like we want to do with the audio, we'll learn video as well, and we'll be the audio video guy. I was pretty busy in high school playing sports, so I never got into any other clubs because It's kind of lazy, man. You know what I'm saying? I knew that I was going to be busy from July-ish until November for football, and then I had a little bit of a break. I did try wrestling once, and yeah, you just stick around for that one. But then I played baseball, so then I knew I was going to be busy for um, the other portion of the next semester. So I didn't want to do anything else. Just wanted to hang out with my friends and veg and chill and take in life as a teenager, you know. It wasn't until later, like I said on my first podcast, and when I got into wanting to do the audio stuff, and when I was, my wife and I first got married, I had my DJ equipment, and I had that reel to reel player, and I had a whole setup in every apartment I lived in, and I'd come home from work, and every night I would just do whatever to make tapes. I made tapes as if I was a sports broadcaster, giving you the scores on a 5 o'clock drive home, from work. I made goofy, funny voice tapes and trying to be the guy. Nothing really, just making tapes. I produced commercials. I made what we used to have to do. I don't even know how it works now to get in the radio. We used to have to send and record, make and record and edit tapes spots, like, and you'd send a physical cassette tape. You had to record it onto a cassette tape, and you had to stick that in a padded envelope and send it out to a program manager or whatever. And we were always told it's like they're only going to listen to the first 3 seconds, and we're like, well, what the fuck then? Just make a really good 3 seconds. And no, but you had to make it had to be 30 seconds long. And so you had to do everything that you would have to do in radio, because you have a log, and every 15 minutes you've got to do the weather, you got to do the a promo at the top of the hour, you got to maybe get a PSA announcement in there. You got to do the news for the weather, and you got to play the songs in between. And you have this log that you have to follow for the whole hour, and you just do that for 4 hours or however long you're doing your show. And you had to record these 30-second spots that were like you were doing that or were doing. I mean, it was easy for people who already got in radio. They just go to the recording studio, wind back their tapes, and be like, snip, snip, snip. I'll send this out to the next level up in markets and see if I can move on to get to the big show, And I grew up listening to the big show. I mean, we might get into here in some about Steve and Gary and Kevin Matthews and guys like that, and all the different stations. My mom got me interested in, because she forced me to get a job at one of the radio stations that a DJ friend of hers knew. So that's kind of how I got interested in it. And then here we are now. Like I said, I had the equipment. I was doing all that, and I was trying to send out tapes. But like I said, interviews coming in from places I didn't want to be. I was going through a divorce. I had a child. I wanted to stick around and be in that child's life, because for the first 3 or 4 years, I used to pick her up every night after work, take her, to my apartment. We'd hang out, play, eat dinner. She'd spend the night. I'd take her back to her mom's in the morning. And that worked for a long time until she started certain levels of school. And then it kind of changed. And then over the course of the years, it is what it is. And I didn't want to miss that. And so I didn't go after any of these jobs. I'm not really going after a job now. I mean, in this day and age, hell, with these videos and this audio, I mean, if the right person hears it, maybe they'll call and say, hey, we got a job. You could be a producer. We'll teach you a little bit more than what you know. And I could go in and say, all right, let's do this. But I don't know. I don't care. I also want to use this platform as, to tell my funny stories and to rant, because that's what I'm going to do spend it all Sunday today, finishing up my 2 hours I get for the company that hosts my podcast, so that I can distribute it out to the other places where you would download it. I talk sports. I love sports. Sports was a big part of my life from young age until now, and I'm not an apologist. I don't rah, rah, rah for my team all the time. If they're losing and sucking it up, that's what I focus on. That's like, how I'm wired. It's like, this guy sucks. Why do we still have him? Why did we sign this guy? I mean, I could tell you what, for the last 3 years, you looked at some of Hoyer and then Epstein before he left, their moves every offseason. I swear to God, they were in a contest to try to see who could sign the most guys coming off of Tommy John surgery. Because it was like they'd sign 30 guys in the offseason, all these minor league contracts or whatever, and 5 of them would have had coming off Tommy John surgery within the last 2 years. And I don't mean, that's not to say that they wouldn't work out, but I can't remember a single one of them names now because guess what? They didn't work out. That's what I talk about. Bears, I decided to start this because I post on Facebook and it gets reactions, gets friends of ours. We talk about the game and what we're seeing, and we can commiserate together because, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, So now you could see it. You could see my reactions when I post this stuff because I actually have behind my computer here with a setup, and hopefully that'll get incorporated. But I can sit here and watch the games and do the videos and post my reactions and then edit them together and put them in to my show. So getting back to the place that hosts my podcast, like I said, I get 2 hours on the free plan. I'm going into this totally different. I've been in several types of businesses before. Basically, I failed at every single one of them, but I don't care because I'm going to keep doing some things, but I'm also going to do some things different. I'm not going to focus on this as being a business. This is going to be an outlet for me, but it's not going to be a hobby because I'm planning this. I'm working hard behind the scenes. And that's what the videos are going to be. You can see the making of Chronicles of a Dumbass. Now, I'm not going to videotape everything. If I'm just sitting here making an outline on Word, I'm not going to videotape that. I should, because I talk to myself a lot, because it's the only way I can get an expert opinion, most of the time. So I could do that, but I'm not gonna. I'm going to put a video up when I'm making my audio podcast for Spotify. And then, so if you at Spotify listen to it from the audio and then you're like, my gosh, this guy's getting ready to have a coronary. I want to see this happen. And you want to tune in, you can go to YouTube and it's Shawn P. Mackey. I don't know if I put the P in my photo for Chronicles of a Dumbass. No, I think it's just the Shawn Mackey Show, but you can find me on YouTube, Shawn P. Mackey. Clean cut lad in the photo, I think, maybe. Got a sport coat on. I don't know. That was back in a different day for me. And so that's what you're going to get. So that, as far as sports goes, I'm not going to apologize for my fan. I'm going to root for my team. I'm going to die with these teams because, yeah, I'm old enough and I could change and switch, but then that's a lot of effort because I got a lot of swag that I've purchased over the years and I don't want to replace it all. Because one thing you'll find out about me through this damn show is I'm cheap. I'm cheap as it comes. So, but for some things, we'll get into that later. I will recap what I've seen throughout the week of sports because of the 2 hours a month time limit for the audio version of Spotify. I'm going to be doing a weekly show for a half an hour. And I've got my segments that I'm going to get in there. I'm going to tie it all together. So it's not just going to be some willy-nilly deal. And that's how you know I'm working hard behind the scenes. Because what I talk about on a daily basis in sports is going to tie into something that pisses me off, which is going to lead to some dumbass shit that I did. And then that's going to leave me with the sage advice for you that I learned from that in my hit it and quit it moment. All right? So this is very short right now on the video part. I'm not going to sit here and ramble on this very first ever video / audio recording because I'm going to move into what I was going to originally talk about. And I had an outline put together. And for episode 4, I was going to originally talk about, I was going to start introducing some of the Bears coaches. And I was going to talk about the Cubs. But you know what? I'm going to let this Bears offseason kind of play out. We've got, and you can get the information just by Googling Bears roster. Click on the link for the team and then coaches, and you can see it all. I'm not going to bore you with that. Sports hosts all over the nation I mean, they get together with their buddies and they're talking sports and they start arguing over sports, and it's great and it's a good thing. Some of them don't apologize for their teams. Some of them are neutral, bipartisan, so they always have an opinion on other teams. So there you go. I may give you my opinions on other teams, other sports, other players, because I watch a lot of sports and I do keep up on it. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch basketball. Those are two sports in my life I played a lot of, but I'd rather play them than watch them. I can't keep up with the pace of hockey with the puck and see the action and know what's going on. It's almost like a guessing game. True hockey fans maybe can do it. Maybe your eyes can work that way. But I've been wearing these glasses since I was like 16, and now I got bifocals, and then they told me I'm on the very beginning stages of cataracts. So I don't even know what the hell is going to happen anyway. So I can't follow the puck in hockey. I almost have to just guess based on where they're playing and my knowledge of the game. So I don't watch it. Basketball, for me, is only really exciting till you get down to the last couple of minutes, back and forth, foul and free throw line, battling back and forth. Maybe it's a close game. That gets exciting there. I do kind of follow a little bit of the March Madness, and that's only whenever I was working at jobs where people had pools, and I'd get in just to see what I did, and I'd follow along. But I do follow the Blackhawks, and I do follow the Bulls on ESPN in the app, and I do check in on them. And I check the score and the stats and the standings, and I read the news. And so I'll tie that all into this, but it's going to be my opinions on it. I'm not out here looking to be a sports show host. That was something I could have done when I went to broadcasting school. I could have focused on that, and I liked sports then, but I was playing sports back then. I was very active in sports. I was playing semi-professional football, and you'll hear a bunch about that. For a couple of years, I also played in the semi-professional baseball leagues. Neither of those are big accomplishments. They're just highly or more advanced adult leagues for people who just enjoy the game. There is some national recognition to them. There are guys who played in those leagues who went on to play professionally in both sports. Not at the same time, I'm saying I played with some guys or against some guys who were in the semi-pro leagues, and they ended up signing with a minor league baseball team. So when I was playing baseball, and same thing with football, we had guys we played against that had either played higher level college football and played some pro, maybe practice squad, bounced around, didn't kind of make it, still young enough to go after it. So they play in these leagues to keep sharp. But I have experiences from them. You can't take that away. Doesn't matter what your opinion is on semi-professional sports. Doesn't really matter. You can yell at me all you want. You can send me a message and tell me. And in fact, my first podcast, I said you would be able to maybe send me emails at Spotify. Can't do that because I'm using the free plan and I'm not upgrading for that. So you can hit me on Facebook, where most of you come from anyway, Shawn P. Mackey. Chronicles of Dumbass. You'll see the photos. Check out the post. I don't want to. You could send me a message there, but if you're going to send me a message, call me a dumbass. Don't waste your time, because I know I'm a dumbass. I've done some stupid shit. I don't need you sending me messages, bashing me out. I don't really care if you do, but I won't respond to them. If I see that right away that you're just like, you don't agree with my opinion, so you want to let me know about it, that's fine. You can, but just know this is my show. You don't have to listen. So yeah, any kind of that negativity, delete, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not tough skinned and I can't take it. I don't need it. This is my show. Again, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing it for you because I think you'll laugh at my stories and I think you'll get a kick out of it. And that's all I want to do. Okay. They're always going to be free. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to attempt to. If you send feedback and say you want this dumbass face on a t-shirt, hey, maybe I'll make up some t-shirts. I don't know. Probably not. So I'll take your suggestions at the Facebook, or whatever on the posts each time I make a post for an episode. But the negativity crap, don't come at me with that because I ain't looking for it. I'm too damn old in my life. because I'll out negative you any day of the week. It's kind of part of why I'm doing this, because a lot of the shit I just rant about, and sometimes people are just like, ugh. And so I need an outlet. So this is where I'm going. I'm going to you. You like it, you listen. You don't like it, keep listening and keep not liking it. Keep your opinions to yourself, but keep listening. You know? Because that'll give you something to think about, and it'll give you somebody to be pissed off at. So if you need to be pissed off at me, great. Stay pissed off at me, so when you get your ass home from work, you don't take it out on your family. And you can walk in there and put a happy little smile on your damn face like you are walking through sunshine fields with apples flowing everywhere. And treat them family members like they're the king and queens that they are. And the little princes and the little princesses. That's right. So that's what you're going to get. We're going to see where it goes. You know, again, we're going to start out with the sports. We're going to tie it all into everything that we do. All right. Created that new intro. Think it still may need some work. Everything's a work in progress with this now. Now that I'm adding video, that's going to take up some time right there too. Still got to put in that job, them full-time hours. And speaking of sports, I think I just got traded at my job. So as more information about that comes out, there might be something in there funny to hear. Maybe not. I don't know. So that's where we are. Again, I don't know how much time we have at our hosting platform that we would spend it all on today's episode. But we're getting close to the 20, to the 30-minute mark. So we're going to just kind of keep it at that for now. So this episode really, and I'll put this in the comments and descriptions just in case you want to bypass it. There's no big story here right now. This is just kind of like me being me. And I'm letting you know what you can expect from this podcast. And maybe it takes on a little bit of a different meaning because you see the video here. But again, if I learn the video and I can learn how to incorporate videos and capture them through or edit it. So if I can, the video I'm recording now for the podcast, if I wanted to show or use other videos, if I learn how to edit those and then do seamless transitions, that means I'll just be even working harder to put on a good show for you, because all I want to do is entertain you. I want to entertain you about sports, the shit that pisses me off, the dumbass shit I did. And then I want to leave you with a little bit of a message. And you heard that twice now. So that's what we do in advertising. They say, keep repeating your message. Why do you think every time you see a commercial or hear it and they throw a website out there, it's 2 or 3 times? In audio, when it's in radio, it's like when you're taught to write a commercial, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like when it was just phone numbers. It was like, say the phone number like 3 times in a certain amount of a spot. Sometimes you have 15-second spots, 30-second spots, 45-minute. Depends on what the person wants when they're purchasing the advertising. They have the ideas on what they want in a commercial. Sometimes they collaborate with somebody like a producer who knows what they're doing, and the producer writes it. Then they get approvals throughout the process, and then they produce the commercial. And hell, I don't even know where I was going with that now. You know what I mean? That's going to happen from time to time, because I'm a dumbass. You know, I grew up in a time, I was in education for a very long period of time. In 1975, they enacted the IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. 75. By 75, I mean, I think it was starting kindergarten. You know, no, I was in 2nd grade. And so you had a new program that were identifying kids who were, you know, and I'm dumbasses, but we're dumbasses for a reason. And where I'm going with this is, you get a little bit of the ADD and the ADHD, and sometimes I'm talking and saying something, and then literally I look over here at my audience, Mr. Beaver from Blackburn College and his wife, and then I get sidetracked. The mind just shuts off for an instant. It glitches for me, and it just shuts off for an instant, and then I don't know where I'm at. and then I got to go somewhere else. So I was a speech theater education major. I've done a lot of theater. It was something I wanted to accomplish in my life. I did that. I don't currently do it. Takes a lot of time and energy. But as they say in the theater, the show must go on. So every now and again, you will have to deal with a glitch. It's going to be funny to watch. So just know if you're listening on Spotify and I immediately shift gears to something, I'm going to let you know I did it because of that damn glitch. That's all I can say. I mean, that's the best way I can put it right now, because I'm telling you what, this very first episode with this video tying into my Spotify audio cast is right here. That's it. It's right here. It's off the cuff. I had an outline put together for episode 4. I was going to talk about, start introducing you to the Bears coaches. I was going to talk about some of the Cubs moves because I was writing the outline before they started for the preseason, and I'm actually happy to see where they're at now. On the verge of losing today, but started out 3-0. A lot of guys producing, and we're going to talk about that as the podcasts carry on. It's early in the season. I was going to talk about that. I was going to talk about all the years previous and what we were promised, because they say they're not in a rebuild. They think they're kind of going all in, but some of the moves kind of negate that saying or what they're saying. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in the show. And then again, I'm going to tie it all in to just what's going on in life. That's what I was, okay, see, there you go. I got it now. That's where I was going with this. My categories, I'm going to sports, and then society and culture, because that's life. And then I'm going to try to make it funny as hell, so that's the comedy. So there's the 3 categories, You might tell this is a little bit off the cuff, but it's, like I said, it's right here. It's what I wanted to tell you, what the show was going to be about. I've done that. I've rattled on a little bit too long. We're coming up at the end of the show for today. It's episode number 4, but it's end of February. I wanted to kind of just get it out there because I wanted to start fresh in March with my 2 free hours. So there will be an episode 30 minutes long once a week. I'll work on it during the week. I'll edit it, clean it up, put it together. And I'm thinking I'm going to maybe make sure that I get those uploaded to Buzz, the place that hosts my podcast, so it can be up on Spotify by like Fridays at 5:00. So maybe if that's the time you drive home from work and you want a good laugh for a half hour, if that's how long your commute is, you can turn us on Spotify if you're Bluetoothed up and hooked up to the car, which most of them have now anyway. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. If your car's a little bit older, go get you one of them damn aux cables, and plug the damn phone in and listen to your Spotify through the speakers. Do it that way. Get yourself into some technology. Don't be afraid. All right? I'm 56 years old. I know I don't look it, but what the hell? I feel 82, and we'll talk about that in future podcasts, because the way I feel now changed my opinion about some sports. But that's for the playing of them and not being a fan and watching of them now currently. So that's for a future episode. So I'm going to go ahead and just sign off here right now. I know with the YouTube videos, if you catch them on YouTube, you can leave comments. Again, stay away from the negativity. I don't like it. It's just crazy. We don't need it. We're in a crunch. We're in a crunch now to see who we are as citizens of this world and this country, because we're going through some shit. And we can keep the negativity out of it, okay? I ain't out here on this podcast. I ain't going to expose anybody. I ain't out here to make anybody feel bad or offend anybody. I may do it in the process just because some people tend to get offended about everything. I'm not doing it purposely, and I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm just going to tell you about the shit that pisses me off and tie it into something stupid that I've done. And I'm going to wrap it all around sports. Sports I played, sports I watch. All right? That's all I got to say. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of Chronicles of a Dumbass. I hope you enjoyed what you heard today. Maybe it brought a smile to your face, made you laugh, maybe it even made you think. If you liked what you heard, tell all your friends. If you didn't, just keep your mouth shut.